Do not do this. Do not. This will kill the conversation. This will kill the sale, which is exactly what was happening in her situation. Hey, welcome to the Insurance Buzz. I am your host, Michael Weaver. I'm flying solo today, and we're going to be talking about what not to say. And I mean it, do not say this in the mortgage payoff life insurance conversation that you have learned from me. And where this is coming from is I recently jumped on a coaching call with a team member in one of our role play scenarios in Weaver Sales Academy. And it was a giant red flag because she was having an issue with customers ultimately having objections from the very first part of the conversation. Like objection after objection. She's like, I bring it up and they say, I'm not interested. And I'm like, what are they not interested in when it comes to a mortgage payoff conversation? So I was like, well, let's just role play this. Let's hear it. And so any of you that have heard me, and I know I'm getting right into this, but this is really important. I'm fired up right now because I do not want you making the same mistake and enduring the same struggle. So when we role played, what I found out in the conversation was, so her intro was really great. She was like, hey, Michael, so real fast, I have a quick question. What does your mortgage payoff protector plan look like? Meaning that in the event that you were to get into an auto accident, you pass away, and you don't go home to your family, what does the plan look like to ensure that they would receive a check large enough to be able to pay off the mortgage? And she said customers will typically say, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's a really great question. Many of you, if you've ever used this, probably have the same question. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Explain that to me a little bit more. Any type of variation of that question or that conversation in which she would respond with, and this is what, do not do this. So if you're doing this right now, you are killing the entire question and why I use the mortgage payoff protector conversation. I'll get into that here in a second. But how she would respond is, well, what I mean by the mortgage payoff protector is that it's actually a life insurance policy or life insurance plan and what it's going to do for you. She would go into the features and benefits. But most importantly, she would say, what I mean is it's a life insurance policy. Do not do this. Do not. This will kill the conversation. This will kill the sale, which is exactly what was happening in her situation. She would explain it. And what would the customer do? The customer would say, hey, I'm not interested in life insurance. This is a new business. I'm calling for my auto insurance. Who said anything about life insurance? Or, hey, nope, I got it through work. I'm good. You can relate. I can relate. Do not do that. Do not say that. We are not getting into this is a life insurance plan and this is what it covers. We are not getting into features and benefits. What I want you to do and how to set yourself up for success and the customer. And remember, you are the professional. You are the one in charge of the conversation. It is the customer's job to try and throw you off the process of the conversation. It is your job as a professional to control the conversation in a professional way. And so when you enter into that initial conversation of, hey, real fast, what does your mortgage payoff protector plan look like in the event that you don't go home to your family, you pass away today unexpectedly, your family receives a check or will receive a check big enough and large enough to be able to cover the mortgage. They never have to worry about how they're going to make that next payment, maybe being forced to sell the house, in worst case scenario, possibly even filing bankruptcy. What does that look like? And when the customer responds with, what are you talking about? Never heard that. Explain that to me again. What do you mean exactly? This is not where you go in and explain what we're talking about. This is when you ask another question. Well, what I mean by this is, in the event that if you did pass away today unexpectedly, would it be important to you? You see where I changed that? Would it be important to you that your family did receive a check large enough to be able to pay off the mortgage since they're no longer receiving your income, so they don't have to struggle and worry about how they're making that next payment? Again, maybe being forced to sell the house, worst case scenario, filing bankruptcy. That's what I mean. Would it be important to you? Or what do you have in place? But I like the would it be important to you because we're going for the yes here. And when they tell you yes, again, we're not explaining that this is a life insurance plan yet. We are not going into the features and benefits because you have nothing to educate the customer on because you don't know the problem yet. What problem are you solving besides you know that they don't have anything yet? Or yes, it would be important to them. That's all you know, but you don't know the actual problem. You don't know the pain point. You don't know what they want to be taken care of. Maybe they want more than just the mortgage taken care of. This is when you go into more questions. This is when you actually anchor the prospect into having a life insurance conversation with you. This is where you take your sales pants off and you put your conversation pants on and you just have a conversation with somebody to see if they're a good fit and they love their family, they care about their family, and they have things that they need taken care of. So when somebody says yes, that would be important to me. Write this down right now. Note it in your phone. If you're watching it, listening to it, tell me more about that. Tell me more about that. Why would it be important to you that your family received a check large enough to be able to pay off the mortgage so they didn't have to worry about making that next payment? Or why would it be, and tell me more about that. Why would it be important to you that your family never had to sell the childhood home? Or tell me more about that. Why would it be important to you that your family never had to be concerned about filing bankruptcy? Tell me more about that. Why would it be important to you? In which, you know this, the customer's typically going to keep it pretty high level. I'm not going to get into the full training today. They're going to keep it high level in which you got to dig in some more, right? Tell me more about that. What do you mean by that? Why would it be important? Tell me more about that. Not, this is what I mean. This is a 20-year life insurance policy, blah, 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 because that's all your customer hears. That's all the prospect hears, right? Yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. I'm not interested in life insurance. Who said anything about life insurance? I got it through work. I'm good. My family's covered. Just get back down to the quote. That's not when we bring it up. You have to get the customer anchored into a problem that you can solve. And when you have them anchored into this because they've told you why this is important, why they would want to plan, why their family's uninsured, why they would never want their family to experience bankruptcy, why they would never want their family to struggle paying the bills, why they would never want their family to be forced to sell the childhood home, why it would be important to get their credit card debt paid off as well, depends on where the conversation goes. That's when you have them anchored in to where you don't have to sell anything. You just solve a problem. So if you're coming up on objection after objection after objection, it's because you're not getting the customer anchored into the conversation. You're not asking questions. You're focused on features and benefits and talking at the customer instead of having a conversation around what's important to them and what problem do they want to solve. Because that's what you are. You're a problem solver. But to be able to solve a problem, first you have to ask the questions to figure out what problem you're solving, how big that problem is. So if you feel a little, and this is common, I used to feel this way. If you're feeling a little pushy, you're feeling a little salesy, you're feeling a little sleazy, you feel lost in the conversation, you're not confident, ask more questions. When you ask more questions, you find out more. You empower the customer. And when you empower the customer, the conversation just changes. It doesn't feel forced. It feels easy. It feels smooth. It feels like, wow, I'm actually solving problems. I'm actually helping people. I'm just not pushing life insurance or bringing up conversations to check a task off to keep the agent off my back or keep the company off my back. I actually am doing something that I can be proud of, that fulfills me, that excites me, that I feel good about, that I feel confident about. So do not bring up the features and benefits and what the plan is until it's actually time to do so, which would be at the absolute back end of the conversation after you figured out the problem, you figured out the death benefit, and then you solve. Then you educate, right? And I could even go into, you're not going to bring up some of the things until the application. but that's a different training for a different day. We cover things like this all the time in Weaver Sales Academy. And we also have, if you're just looking for life insurance help, we have a brand new product called Six Figure Life Insurance Producer. The feedback has been amazing. It's got our 20-day sales accelerator course built within it to where if you're a tenured team member or you're brand new, you go through this 20-day course for 30 minutes and you will never struggle with life insurance ever again. And this is a product or program that's not a monthly charge. It's a one-time, you own it forever. You're going to learn everything from how to have a life insurance conversation to multiple life insurance pivots to the mortgage payoff, the debt payoff, the burial plan, how to have a full-blown financial advisor-like appointment with customers, and more. So if you struggle with life insurance, take action, click the link below, and either work with us at Weaver Sales Academy or just make a one-time investment in the program, product, and in yourself with the Six Figure Life Insurance Producer course, and take that struggle out. Take it out so that you're more confident than ever in life insurance conversations. With that being said, I appreciate you. I always appreciate you. I hope that you took away today was ask more questions, dig in more, tell me more about that. Would this be important to you? Get them to agree, get them to explain, have them tell you their problem, and you will never have problems selling life insurance ever again. And most importantly, you'll feel good about what you're doing. You'll feel excited. You'll feel fulfilled. And that's what matters, because when you start feeling sleazy, when you start feeling salesy, when you start feeling pushy, you're going to start feeling burnout, and you're just not going to last in this business. You have to have conversations that are meaningful and that matter and that fire you up and something that you can look forward to and feel good about all the time. So with that being said, I appreciate you as always. Time and attention are by far our most important assets. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Go out and make it great, my friends.